Most financial advice is completely backwards, and it's quietly keeping you broke. Here's what nobody in personal finance will tell you. You don't need six figures. You don't need a stock portfolio. You don't even need a financial advisor. You need one number, $20,000. Not because it makes you wealthy, it doesn't, but because it rewires your brain in a way that makes everything after it dramatically easier. And once I show you the math behind this, you're going to feel genuinely angry that no one told you this sooner. So, what actually changes the moment you cross that line? Let's find out. Think about the last time you checked your bank account and immediately closed the app. That's not a money problem, that's a brain problem. When you don't have savings, your brain runs on what psychologists call survival mode. Every decision, your job, your relationships, your daily choices, gets filtered through fear and scarcity. You take the first job offer because you can't afford to say no. You stay in situations you hate because leaving feels too risky. You say yes to things you don't want because you need the money. And here's the brutal part. When your brain is in survival mode, it literally cannot think about growth. It's like trying to plan a vacation while your house is on fire. But here's where it gets interesting, because what happens at $20,000 isn't what you'd expect. It's not just more money, it's a completely different operating system. Where your brain finally has enough breathing room to ask bigger questions. Let me show you something nobody ever puts in front of you. Say you save $1,000 every month and earn an 8% annual return on your investments. Getting to your first $20,000 takes about 19 months. That's a year and a half of discipline, sacrifice, and delayed gratification. It's hard. Most people quit somewhere along the way. But here's the part that changes everything. Your second $20,000 doesn't take another 19 months. It takes 17. Why? Because now your first $20,000 is working alongside you, generating its own returns. You did the exact same work, saved the same amount, took the same risk, but you shaved 2 full months off the clock. And it keeps accelerating. Once you hit $400,000 in your portfolio, you can generate the next $20,000 in just 5 months, automatically, without lifting a finger. The same amount that took you nearly 2 years to save the first time, 5 months on autopilot. And that gap keeps widening. Every single year that your money stays invested, the math gets more and more absurdly in your favor. So let me ask you this. If the first $20,000 is the hardest one, what exactly is stopping you from starting today? But here's what most people completely miss, and it might be the most important point in this entire video. When you save $20,000, you haven't just accumulated money. You've fundamentally rewritten who you are. Think about what it actually takes to get there from zero. You tracked every dollar. You said no to things you wanted. You resisted the shiny objects. You stayed consistent for months, maybe years. And most importantly, you proved to yourself that you can control money instead of letting it control you. That's not just a financial skill, that's a life skill. And it compounds just like interest does. Because once you know you can do hard things with money, you start doing hard things everywhere else too. Your standards go up. Your tolerance for mediocrity goes down. And here's the irony. Once you've built that identity, the next $20,000 feels almost effortless. Because you're no longer someone who's trying to save money. You're someone who does. But wait, because it gets even more interesting. Because $20,000 doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your career. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're not just financially trapped, you're professionally trapped. Your boss is terrible? You can't leave. Your coworkers are toxic? You stay. The work is soul-crushing? Doesn't matter. You need that next paycheck. This puts you in the weakest possible negotiating position. You can't ask for a raise, you can't push back, you can't explore anything better. And everyone around you knows it, even if they never say it out loud. That feeling of needing the job more than it needs you quietly erodes your confidence in ways that take years to undo. $20,000 changes all of that. Because now you have what I call walking away money. You could quit tomorrow and survive for months while you find something better. And here's the crazy part. You rarely even need to use it. Just knowing it's there changes your entire demeanor at work. You become more confident, more assertive, more willing to take on big challenges. And people notice. Suddenly you're getting better assignments, more recognition, and yes, more money. Think about what that does over 5 years. One raise leads to a higher baseline. A higher baseline means more to invest. More invested means the compounding accelerates even faster. All of it started because you had $20,000 sitting in an account and felt calm enough to show up differently. It's a secret superpower you hope you never have to use, but knowing it exists, that changes everything. If this is already making you think differently about money, hit subscribe. This channel is where financial clarity actually lives. And here's the trap that destroys almost every first-time saver. And it hits hardest right at this exact moment. The moment you finally feel financially secure is the exact moment your brain starts rationalizing why you deserve to spend it. Maybe you decide you've earned a new car, or a vacation, or a down payment on a house you can't really afford. Don't do this. That $20,000 isn't a reward for good behavior. It's the seed that grows into generational wealth, if you're patient enough to let it compound. Here's a number that will probably make you angry. The average American spends more on their car over their lifetime than it would take to achieve complete financial independence. Car payments, insurance, maintenance, gas. Most people are dropping $700 every single month on transportation. Over 40 years, that's $400,000 gone. Meanwhile, they're wondering why they can't save for retirement. That $30,000 car isn't just $30,000. It's $30,000 that could have grown to over $200,000 in your investment account over 20 years. Suddenly, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like buying your freedom. Look, $20,000 isn't going to make you rich overnight, but it will make you the kind of person who can get there. It's the difference between reacting to life and designing it, between surviving and building, between being controlled by money and controlling it. Most people spend their entire lives one unexpected expense away from disaster. You don't have to be one of them. The path is simple, even if it isn't easy. Start building that foundation today, because your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. And here's what's wild. Once you understand this first threshold, the next one hits completely differently. Because there's another number above 20,000 where something even more counterintuitive happens. Your money starts working harder than you do. That is in one of my next videos, so don't miss it.